So I always like to say you could always start with needle and thread, right? The good old needle and thread, that could always be your first starting point. If you don't have a sewing machine, that doesn't mean you cannot start sewing. You could always do it with needle and thread. So the first thing I would point out with is you want to get yourself a pack of good needles and some threads, right? Next, of course, you want to get yourself a pin cushion. Now, I made this pin cushion. Is very, very easy. Just taking sponge, guys, and just putting fabric over it. So then I have my pin cushion. And of course, we will actually show you how to make an easy one as well. Okay. All right. So pin cushion, that's the first thing we're going to start with. And of course, we introduced you to the sewing machine already. So that's a great another tool, of course, you would need to add on to your sewing journey as you get more competent in sewing. And you decide, you know what, sewing is for me. I want to dive in 100%. Get yourself a sewing machine. Okay. So, all right. So next, from the sewing machine, you want to get yourself some seam ripper, guys. I'm telling you, that's like your friend in sewing. Like, if you ain't have needle and thread, okay, make sure you have the seam ripper. That's how important it is. Okay, guys, make sure you have the seam ripper. So this is very, very important. Okay, so we also want to have at least 2 pairs of scissors. This is very, very important. Let's say you are making your own patterns, for instance, right? You want to have a scissors to cut the pattern out, and that's separately from your fabric scissors. Okay, so as simple as it is very important. Whether you could, usually I would say get the same scissors if you want. Just make sure you write one for your pattern only and one for your fabric only. Okay, because sometimes if you use the paper scissors for your fabric, usually it get dull, right? So you just kind of want to have 2 pairs of scissors in your closet there. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna have here now is pins. Very important. Of course, some people use clips as well, or fabric weight washers. That's perfectly fine. I usually like pins, so I use pins for my for pinning there. Okay, you also want to get yourself some marking tools, so whether chalk, whether erasable fabric pen, or just some fabric markers, that's perfectly fine. You want to get yourself some of that there. You definitely want to get yourself some thread, right, guys? Because of course we'll be sewing, whether it's hand sewing or machine sewing, you need yourself some good set of thread, and we're gonna go over thread a little bit deeper as we go along. Okay, you definitely want to have yourself your tape measurement. So whether this tape measurement, it go up to 160. Usually the usual tape measurement will go up to 60. So in this case, just get yourself a tape measurement because you would need it for sure. Okay. All right. So next thing we're gonna look at now, you want to get yourself a ruler. Right, so a ruler is good. You could actually get just a regular ruler. You could start off with a regular ruler. That's things. It's really help you. That depends on if you want to draw a line, as you'd be drawing your lines and stuff like that. Or you could also get yourself a yardstick as you go, step up in sewing. This is a 36-inch yardstick. So this is a good investment. Now you don't have to get it right now, but it's something that you could also look to invest as you go along in your sewing journey. Okay, so you want to get yourself, of course, some couple of bobbins. So it depends on the bobbin your machine use. You always want to get yourself just a couple more and fill it up as you do your project. Because let's say one time you're working and one finished, then you at least have a couple handy. You just plug it in and you continue your sewing project. So definitely handy there to get. Okay, all right. So you want to get yourself, of course, a good pair of iron. Iron is very important. All right, steam I would say preferable, but don't go, there's very expensive iron and all that. Just make sure the iron gets steam and you're good to go. All right. Okay, so also now you could get yourself this is just you could clippers, tracing reel as you draft your mark your pattern on your fabric and stuff like that, a seam gauge. Those are things that I don't really use too much, but you could actually get it as you go along as well. Okay, now I would also have another list, like if you definitely want to go bigger, because we do have different rulers, hem curves and all that as we go along itself. So I would also have another list where I will show you of other options you could also get in your sewing closet. So you could actually start with some of the basic tools that I show you here today.